Okay, it looks like we are live on the YouTube. Or we are now live on the YouTube. You've either heard that twice or you're hearing it for the first time if I haven't messed it up. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to that UFO podcast. It feels like it's been a lifetime since I recorded or done anything. Dan, I just about remembered your name. How are we? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to
Whatever it
you
was.
too.
Yes, it was a good one, wasn't
You
it?
remember my name. At least you didn't call me just something completely different. That was good.
Absolutely.
Did you have a good day?
Yeah, it was busy. It was hectic. The kids were up early. Well, I had a late one going to bed building bikes that I won't get into. No one wants to hear about that. But yeah, it was pretty mental. What about yourself?
I had a great one. I spent the evening with friends. I'm a little bit hungover, but it was a wonderful time. So yeah.
Nice. Well, without further ado, Dan, we did mention a special guest. I'd like to bring in Vinnie from Disclosure Team. Vinnie, how are we?
I'm good, thank you. Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Vinnie isn't the special guest, folks. Yeah, don't worry about that. God, no. This show has grown far beyond Vinnie being a special guest.
But he is special to us, you know.
Oh, I missed you guys.
Yeah, no, listen, straight off the bat, we do hopefully have our special guest joining us in a little while. We don't want to say who it is in case they end up not being available, but we've been assured that they're coming on probably in about 28 minutes or so. Maybe a little bit more. I should have just said half an hour, shouldn't I? There was no need to say 28 minutes.
Well, you could just say the seconds. I'm far too tired to figure that out in a quick amount of time. But
that was like one of my favorite behind the scenes moments of 2021. Dan, as you'll remember, was emailing Kurt Jaimungo from Theories of Everything, the wonderful, very successful by each month YouTube channel, and he told us he was running late, and he would be was it 4 minutes?
It was very precise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember that.
And it was like 15 minutes before the interview. He told us he was going to be like 4 minutes late, and I was like, "Wow, that is impressive! Like that's a guy on the ball." But when you know Kurt and you speak to him or you watch his stuff, he was 4 minutes late, like probably 3, and gave himself a minute.
Yeah,
but that was pretty cool. We're going to kick off with a little bit of a chat. I just want to say hello to the gents and hello to everyone in the chat room as well. I'm seeing Obi, Karen, Dave, Brian, Paranormal Blip Podcast. How you doing? Chicklandia, Laura is the same person. Adam, how we doing? And anyone else that I've not managed to say their names, I could be here a while if I did that. So hi to everyone for joining us. Listen, there was a very successful event happened over the last couple of weeks. And I think it took us all by surprise. It blew everyone away.
I don't know why you're still this surprised by Christmas. It happens every single year.
Yeah, you kind of ruined my joke. I was going to say it was Christmas. My household went off.
I
was arguing.
Sorry.
Hungover Dan is no fun, is he? It's totally killed the buzz. But no, listen, when we were lucky to meet Lou, and I think after 2021, we're not allowed to mention it ever again, guys, because people will be going, oh, okay, I get it, you met Lou. When we met Lou last month in London, Dan brought along a load of his truth posters for us, of which you can see big one of them back there. And Lou signed them all for us as well. And he brought an extra one. And initially he was going to sell it on eBay, and we convinced him not to. And what he done, sign it capital E, big B. What he done was ask Lou to sign it to Raffle off for charity, and that was off Dan's own back. That wasn't anything that the rest of us came up with for him. There is the poster itself, signed by Luis Elizondo. And over the couple of weeks after that, Dan kind of decided to do a bit of a raffle, didn't you, Dan? Do you want to kind of? I've maybe told most of the story, but feel free to.
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing.
That was pretty much it. That was a really long intro to say, Dan, do you want to do the intro?
No, I mean,
talk about it.
You know, it's a concise telling of the story. We meant to meet Lou. He was gracious enough to sign the poster. And then a bit later on, he chose a couple of charities for us to fundraise for. And he chose St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital and Humane Society International, both amazing charities, basically children and animals. You know, we've got to look after the planet and the future generations. I thought it was a really nice gesture of him to do that. So we decided we would split the proceeds 50-50 between the two charities. Am I okay to share screen? No. I think I might be able to do this now without just leaving the studio.
Don't, Dan. Make sure you've only got one window open. Oh, Vinny's on the Vino. There we go.
It's Boxing Day.
It's always evening somewhere in the world for Vinny. That's the way he works it.
Yeah, true. And who am I kidding?
Okay, I think you can bring in that.
Oh, yep,
screen
I
share
have to
window
bring
now.
it in. No problem.
Excellent. So, something very cool alluded straight off the bat was he said that the person that donates the highest amount will receive a personal thank you call. He later upped that to a call via Zoom if the person preferred. So that was an amazing carrot to kind of make this a success. I can't remember when I started it, but it was a month or so, I think. And over the month, we just added prizes from the community. That's the truth poster there that Andy has already kind of said, and I showed you. Then we have Flying Saucers from Outer Space. That's a first edition that was donated by Dave Partridge of Shadows of Your Mind magazine. Then this guy is such a unique piece. It's a knitted alien autopsy, knitted by GKW of New York, and that was donated by Jazz Shaw. Only one of two in existence. Surely one of the most coolest homemade things ever, I'm sure. If they haven't wanted to make those, they sell by the bucket load. So yeah, very special. Then Vinnie got this second edition signed by David Clark of his book, which is very, very cool. We also had Graham Rendell donated a signed copy of his new book, UFOs Before Roswell. The cover's pretty cool there. I don't know who did that.
Olaf Rockner done it.
Yeah, just completely on his own.
95%.
Then Warren Aegeus. Andy, correct me. Am I saying that right?
You are not.
I'm not. Aegeus?
Oh, you just said correct you. I think I would say Aegeus, but I don't know if I'm Aegeus. Warren can correct us on that, but Warren I interviewed a couple of months ago even now, and he's a really cool guy to talk to. He is very much like us. He is just a fan of the subject and wrote a really interesting book of a lot of cases that we know about and a lot of cases that we don't know about or kind of have been a bit forgotten. So that is a cool prize. Trust me, if you haven't read that, it's worth picking up.
Then we have a Olaf Rockner original. This is on canvas, acrylic on canvas. So he'll ship that out to you. That's a very, very special, cool piece. Then I put together a collection of the holographic stickers that you're all probably sick of seeing everywhere. They're getting everywhere around the world. I don't know what to say. People like them. But yeah, I'll put together a complete set. There are a few that aren't pictured there, but I'll send you them all. And then we have this board game, the Nimitz Encounters, by Rusty Dragon Games over on Etsy. And you can see there it's kind of it's based on a game I've never played this called Lambs and Tigers, but it looks fun and it's an ancient game, so you know it must have been entertaining to stick around for that long. But what has happened? So last night I was at this Christmas party and I decided to check on the raffle to see how it was doing, or about I want to say about 11, and it was crazily. I remember talking to Andy at the beginning of this and saying, you know, if we made £100 for charity, I would be over the moon. And we actually ended up selling 29,825 entries inside the last, like, I want to say 10 minutes, maybe half hour. It went from 7,000 up to 17,000 pounds, which is insane. I'm so proud of everybody. So it finished on 17,907 pounds. That's $24,000 for anyone over in the US. So we're gonna get to give these charities $12,000 each, which is it's just incredible. There's no words for it.
Just a quick one, Dan.
Yeah, sure.
We've not discussed this, but BB, thanks for the £5. Any super chat stuff that goes in or stickers or whatever, we'll put into the raffle as well. Not raffle, but just the donation. So anything that comes up, we'll just take a note of it and put it in as well. So that won't go to Dan or myself or anyone,
nice.
or Vinny's wine collection. So thanks for the £5. That's £5 in there as well. So thanks, BB.
Yeah, nice. That's cool. Thanks, BB. So yeah, the top donor would like to remain anonymous, but they did something very kind. They actually, because they had so many entries, because they donated such a large amount to get the call with Lou, they won a whole bunch of stuff, but they gave me permission to redraw on a whole bunch of these prizes. So that anonymous donor, go on.
Dan, to be fair, they did have like Are we allowed to say how many tickets they had? Because they won a lot of stuff because they had
I mean,
like a third of the tickets.
Exactly. That's the way to think of it. You know,
Yeah.
everyone, the nice thing about it was the fact that people that entered early could still qualify for the prizes I added later. And because of that, it means that everyone's entered into every draw. So people with a lot more tickets can obviously get a better chance of winning. You know, that's how raffles work, I guess. But yeah, so we had a lot of tickets. They won a whole bunch. So we're just gonna do some live prize draws on here. So let's start with, let's go for the board game first. So I'm just gonna draw this.
Well, you should mention how you're actually doing the draw.
Oh yeah, so basically the website will automate from the people who bought tickets, and what I've done is basically just pressed a redraw button. It will spit out a random entrant to me. I can't put it up on the screen because of I'll kind of do this. You can see that I'm doing it on my iPad.
Just for those listening back to the audio, this is wonderful. I know this is wonderful content for you, so we'll try and keep talking. That was my bad. I thought before I should have kept going. Christian, thank you for that donation. I've no idea of the conversion in my head, but whatever it is, thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian.
He's
been
Christian
doing great work there.
Yeah, uapdb.com, UAP database. So make sure you check that one out. You've just paid for some free advertising there. So, yeah, well done.
So this prize is going to be going all the way to Malaysia. Again, anonymous person. I think I'm going to defer on anonymity because I don't get to ask all these people individually. But yeah, if I'll give you some details where it's going. It's going out to Malaysia. So this is officially, a full-on worldwide raffle, not just US, UK, Europe. It's on the other side too.
That's going to cost Dan about £300 in postage.
Which one should I draw next, guys?
What else was still available? What about the hollow stickers? Were they still
let's
available?
do the stickers. Yeah, they are.
And we'll just say thanks to BB for another £5. So that's £10 from BB for the charities as well. So thank you very much for that. And Olaf Rockner, fantastically talented artist, is in the chat as well. Hi, Olaf.
Hello, Olaf. Hope you're good. Cheers.
So you know what? We have a winner that I'm sure he won't mind me saying because he's quite a public face over on UCR. But Aaron Desario just won the sticker pack. Congratulations, Aaron.
I like that because Aaron's a listener, a long-time listener to the podcast as well. So, and yeah, he's one of the UCR guys too. So awesome. Well done, Aaron. Good stuff. Oh, and Aaron's in the chat as well. So
is he? Yeah, congratulations.
Aaron won.
That was good timing.
Hey.
With his awesome profile picture there. Hi, Robert. Oh, I like that comment, Dan. Sir Coppola, first raffle to comply with GDPR. That said, general data protection regulations for all of you. This is top class entertainment for what's being recorded on a Boxing Day or listened back retrospectively.
I know, right?
Like talking about GDPR. Let's get into GDPR.
On the screen.
Let's just put the raffle away for half an hour and talk about GDPR.
So the
Mr.
first
Badger.
edition. Thank you, Mr. Badger.
Another fiver for the charity.
The first edition of Flying Saucers from Outer Space by Major Donald Kehoe from 1953. That is going to someone who I know is in the chat. I'll just say Phil. He'll know who he is. Congratulations, Phil. You won that one. I know Phil is another long-time listener of the podcast as well, so nice. Thank you so much. Phil was very close to winning the call as well. Super supportive from the get-go of this, so thank you, Phil. Really appreciate it. I will make sure you get some stickers as well.
Nice. And a thank you to Average Man DXB for $44.99. For me, that is the cost of a video game. I don't know if it still is, but yeah, that's a very generous donation to both charities as well.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
That's not average at all. Average man, you were stellar.
Yeah, you're right. That's slightly above average. So well done. Yeah. Thank you very much. Again, like I say, we'll make sure these get to the charities as well.
Okay, so last draw. This is for Olaf Rockner's painting.
Can you bring that up on the screen? Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me do that.
Olaf's paintings are really cool. I like that. Dan,
Yeah,
describe the scene to us here. Let's paint a picture for those listening and not watching along in future.
So it is a metallic mercury kind of covered shifting craft against a sunset background that reaches into a purple cosmos. Kind of, I imagine that it's in Norway. It kind of gives a Norway-ish feel.
Does
Yeah,
where would you?
Nebraska.
Okay. Sure.
You know what I was going to say there. Oh, someone's saying donate to block Vinnie's face.
I saw that. Yeah, please do. Please do.
Yeah.
Then I can keep drinking.
£1,000 to charity and I'll block him. £1,000, I'll kick him off the chat altogether. Like I'll remove him from the stream.
Guys, do it, please.
So Olaf has written just a little description here that I'm going to read out. He puts a lot of himself into his work. So this was a little bit of description he wrote. Let the people of Earth share the sunset and colors of our world with all who are able to appreciate its beauty. To dwell in this scenery is to drink from our mother's infinite fountain of love and compassion. I feel like that kind of sums Olaf up. If you've met him, just super positive dude. When I hear the term love and light, that's who I think of. Not all these other.
Dan, I'm going to ask you this, but even though Olaf's in the chat. Could we ask Olaf in the chat just to type where the scene, what it was from, or what the inspiration was? Like, obviously I'm going Nebraska. Dan's going Norway. Vinnie, any thoughts? Just while we let Olaf type something in.
Yeah, I guess I'll just go Scandinavia, vague.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel the
We'll
pressure.
give Olaf a chance to type in the chat. Have you done the draw yet, Dan? Anyway.
No, you. I'm gonna press the button now.
You're hoping it's somewhere in the UK, aren't you? For postage.
Wigan. Someone's put Wigan.
Could be.
Could be.
Oh, this is a nice one. Another long-time listener of the podcast, and I know he won't mind. A Waif Soul.
Oh, Nathan.
Okay,
well congratulations, Nathan. You will be receiving the Olaf Rockner original. Hold on to it, man. Like in 50 years, this is going to be a piece of UAP history.
100%.
Yeah, that's a lovely piece. So, and again, I would be checking out Olaf's work and social media stuff because he posts a lot of really nice stuff up there as well. I think that's one thing. I am not artistic in the slightest. And there's a lot of really talented people on social media who have a lot of really cool interpretations of what they think about the subject, and I think especially with a subject like this, not to get too deep or whoa. It's my stoner impression, isn't it, Dan? You've heard that many times. Apparently it's not very accurate. It's pretty cool to see how different people view the subject, like what they think an event or an experience could look like, or how they draw their own. So like Dan captured like what I saw in the kind of mid-90s really well in the podcast logo, which is the awesome little, I love that because it kind of brings me back a little bit to what I kind of saw. But yeah, there's a lot of really talented artists out there as well. So like Zimmerman, Justin, he's great too.
Unreal.
And any number of other people. So
I've got to mention Andrew as well from down Swansea way. When we met Lou, I met Andrew and he gave me a picture that he drew of Lou to take up. And that was awesome to give over to Lou. Because it's nice to pay it forward,
Absolutely.
Thank you, Olaf.
And just a little shout out to Jazz Shaw, who's in the chat. Jazz, obviously, good news with you. You recently posted your wife had some issues medically in social media, and you had some kind of rough moments over the kind of holiday period. So good to see everyone's doing well and home, and you've kind of had a nice holidays, nice Christmas. So thanks for joining us in the chat as well. That was really, really good to see and hear. Dan, have you had any updates from our guest? It was still looking good, or will I give a clue? Is he totally ignoring you?
I think you've assumed gender there.
Yeah.
No, not yet, but just we scheduled it earlier.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's
It's
fine.
fine.
So listen, that was the raffle. Dan is
what I'll
spot
say
on.
just
Go
before
on.
we go on is that I will be posting screenshots of the donations to the charity, so you guys can see that I am just taking the money and I'm living the high life.
Yes, Dan is going to be recording the next show from Hawaii. Purely coincidental, as I have no heating in the shed that I record from. So yeah, but yeah, no, listen, it was a huge amount of money, and Dan is spot on when he says that he initially said, amazing, we could get like £100, and I think I was a little bit more. No, come on. Like, I mean, with the community and the number of people who listen or watch or just follow on social media, and just not even the people who like us, but people who hate us and still follow along or get involved in those conversations, will still get involved for charity. And at this time of year, like I thought 1,000 or 2,000 would have been realistic too. But for it to go to what it went to, and listen, whether you bought one ticket or you didn't have the money at this time of year either, that's totally understandable. But it's incredible for so many people to get involved, and like, yeah, I know Dan has been, especially in the chats, like we have, like, totally blown away with the donations and everything else. So it's been really, really cool. And there's Brian just put another $4.99 in. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
I'll put it on the screen for people. But yeah, for those listening along again, I appreciate you listening to a different kind of podcast than what we normally do, especially with it being a live raffle draw with the guest coming up soon, no, remember. Thank you, Andy, Dan, and Vinnie. 2022 is shaping up to be amazing for the topic. Brian Mass UFO on Twitter. So yeah, it certainly is. Awesome. Brian. And I suppose let me ask you a little bit more on that just before, because we'll talk a bit more about the raffle when the guest comes on as well. But Dan,
I got a thumbs up on the guest, by the way.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. The guest has the link anyway, so the guest will pop in when he's ready, and we'll make him wait. But Vinnie, I'll go to the guest, our guest first. 2022. We've got a lot to be excited about because of what's happened in 2021. As Dan has kept us up to date with, President Biden should have a piece of paper winging its way to his desk. I doubt it's actually on his desk, but figuratively it's on his desk.
I like to think that it's in the inbox in the tray, Yeah. It's just overflowing, but our one's just glowing in the middle of the pile,
Yeah. And like we've said before, not to burst people's bubble, but he's not signing a UFO act. He's signing a National Defence Act bill that, as a tiny, tiny, tiny little part of it, there was something that meant a lot to all of us, which was obviously about the UAP office coming into effect. And there's going to be funding and levels of transparency, we hope. And just a kind of further kick on for the topic and subject in a really, positive way. Vinnie, what are you realistically hoping we could get from the upcoming year?
Wow, there's so many things. The one thing I will say about the NDAA passing both the House and the Senate is that I was kind of worried for a while that we'd be stuck with AOI MSG, and that would have been awful as far as from the government side of things. So the fact that we're going to have this other office is great. But then obviously we've got so many other things. We've got the Galileo project. UAPX are releasing some data in April. Many sort of things like that. But then, a big thing that really struck me today was over here in the UK, some of the, let's say, better media outlets put out some UFO stories and articles. So The Guardian put something out, quickly followed by The Independent. Now, that's something I'm really looking forward to in 2022 is the media. Not just, the US with Fox and the usual suspects that we see, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for that. But over here, to see those sort of names, not the tabloids, which again is not a problem, but we've had the Star, the Sun, and all that reporting for quite some time. But it's these more, I don't know what the word is, just more respectful, I suppose, or respectable media outlets. So that was a nice little thing I saw today, and I hope that continues into 2022. So yeah, so many angles, so many things to look forward to. So we're going in there with a positive outlook and some opportunities to get some information, hopefully.
Dan, what about yourself?
I'm super excited about it. As far as I'm concerned, the second, and I've said this to you guys in private chat, the second that Biden signs this bill, we have 4-year open season on the phenomenon in studying it, or on the studying the phenomenology, I should say. So all these mysteries out there that we've been wanting to go and get our teeth into and try and figure out, now is the time. We're about to be given permission and legitimized to do this. You can walk into universities and spew data at them and show them this bill. And if they laugh you out of the building, you can prove they're the crazy ones now. It's a paradigm shift, and it's been coming a long time. And I know it's been drip feeds, and I know it's been frustrating to people, but seriously, get your hunting boots on, get your guns out. Don't really shoot at the UAP. It's figurative, but you know, there's real kind of magic out there in the world. Let's go figure it out, guys.
Question from Paranormal Blip podcast. Did you see the report in today's Guardian about reported UAP sightings in Northern Ireland? How can us in the UK help get this into the media? Good to see the mainstream media reporting it.
That's exactly what I was saying. That's what we saw. We spoke about it in the chat, in our private chat today, the Guardian, and then this evening, I think the Independent jumped on the same story about Ireland. So, like I said, that was great. You know, to see them talking about the subject, whether it's to do with anything regarding the subject, you know, not just the NDAA or the Pentagon or the US aspect. It was something over this side of the pond, which was great. So I hope it continues. I really do.
Dan, you saw it as well, didn't you? Have you read the article yet?
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember what podcast it was. It might have been UCR, where they were talking about whether abductions have kind of gone away because people don't really talk about them anymore. And of course, there are documentaries. There do seem to be these things going on. But this story was, because we haven't really seen much from the Guardian, this story for me was a bit like, whoa, they've kind of really kind of jumped with 2 feet over there. And then at the end of the article, you know, it didn't end with a snicker or a joke or, you know, anything like that. It ended with an informative few paragraphs about S1605 and what that's going to bring. So, you know, at the very least, we know they're paying attention.
Yeah.
I would say to people, if you want to get more journalists on this, email them. Just look them up. If you have a favorite journalist, do a radio call in if they do go on the radio. But just make sure that you're getting your points concise and hitting those data points and not kind of, you know, we all have our stories, but we can look a little bit, you know, crazy when we go full tilt everything at once. This is a learning process. I like to think of it like, you know, if you kind of spoke in a PhD, you know, English literature way to a child in nursery, they would not understand you. It's the same thing here. It's not wrong or right. It's just you're on different levels. So remember that. Remember your audience. Go and talk to as many people as you can. Seriously, even just doing this raffle, all my friends in Barry are now aware of this issue, and they kind of sending me stuff on the regular about it.
Dan,
and
speaking of knowing my audience, I've got someone they might want to hear from already in the chat. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in our other special guest we had announced, all the way from the US of A himself. Very happy holidays to Mr. Luis Elizondo. Lou, thank you for joining us at very, very late notice.
Hey folks, how you doing? And thank you sincerely for having me. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I've got a new audio rig here. Trying to, every time I talk to you guys, I'm trying to improve the sound a little bit. So.
Yes, no, we can hear you really well. How was your Christmas, Lou, with yourself and the family?
It was amazing. My youngest daughter came to visit. My oldest will be here next week. Any chance to get with a family is always a blessing. You know, I'll share something with you that I've never shared with anybody publicly. But my youngest daughter, I almost lost my wife and my youngest daughter on the operating table many years ago. My wife had a lot of complications during childbirth. For my second one, this is right before I went on a deployment to Afghanistan. My wife had something called HELP syndrome and also preeclampsia and a bunch of other stuff, and it wasn't looking too good for either one of them. And I remember very much that evening getting down on one knee and looking at my older daughter, who at the time was 4, and praying that I just wanted her to make it through to see her first Christmas. And long story short, now it's been more than 20 years, and we've had many Christmases together when I wasn't deployed, and so it's been a blessing. And so having the family together for me is something super special, and also one of the reasons why I wanted to thank you guys and your incredible audience and those who've donated money for these incredible causes, right? Children and animals. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, I think it's innate in most of us to want to protect innocence. And at the time, my daughter was the smallest child ever released from a hospital after several months in the NIC unit. She came home at 3 pounds. And again, I just all I wanted her to do was survive for her first Christmas. And long story short, she's fit as a fiddle, super athletic, and much smarter than I am, which doesn't say very much, I guess. But you know, it's I know what it's like to almost lose someone or something you love, and I can't think of a better cause than what we're doing. You know, people often associate me with things, and like you guys, I'm sure, with things like disclosure and you know, truth behind the reality of UAP, but that's just one facet of our lives, right? We do what we do because ultimately we want to help humanity. We want to help everyone, and you know, it really is. It's really something else. And if I can ask you, Dan, look, you're really, let's be honest, you guys were the mastermind behind this whole thing. And when you came to me and said, "Hey, look, you know, we'd like you to support this," you know, I jumped in with both feet. It was a definitive hell yeah. And the only condition was that we gave all the proceeds to the charity. Not a single penny goes to any of us.
Yeah.
You know, I think that says a lot, because when you look at some charities and some very good charities, you know, they always take a little bit off the top for either some sort of overhead or whatever. But that's not the case here. This was completely voluntary. And so whoever provided those monies for this wonderful cause, in this particular case, St. Jude's Hospital for Children and the Humane Society, right? Again, animals and kids. Not a penny went to anything other than that. And we all dedicated our time to make this happen. And at some point, I would love an opportunity. I said yesterday or the day before, maybe on social media, that my intent is to do a Zoom with whoever is the lucky winner. And you know, I say lucky winner, probably unlucky if they have to talk to me, right? But either way, at this point, I'm getting prepared to, you know, wash their car and mow their lawn for them, and it's just incredible to see this incredible outpouring of generosity. That's really what makes the species so wonderful, you know, and restores faith. And it's Christmas, right? What a better time than now to give to these two amazing causes.
Dan, I was going to let you just say it again to Lou, you know, about the generous like donations, but they bought tickets, but there was some pretty amazing amounts of money went into this, and as much as it was Lou being a part of it, I think has made a huge difference to what we got in. People have been very generous anyway, haven't they?
Yeah. And adding kind of prizes and, you know, you upping what you were offering partway through, it really propelled it. And I was saying earlier, last night, I was just at a party with friends, and every now and then they were like, check it, Dan, check it, see what it's like. And it went from just kind of a few thousand, which blew my mind already, to 5 digits. And yeah, just crazy. Really made my day, like you say.
But, you know, Dan, let me ask you something, and this is for you guys. Maybe what we want to do is maybe once a year, and I'm just thinking out loud. Please, you know, if there's any lawyers out there, don't get mad at me and make me say something I should. But maybe we could do some sort of annual event, charity event, where we donate our time. Right? We do it completely for free, and maybe we do like just a one-day get-together where everybody can come in and we can, you know, people can see us live perhaps and ask questions, and we can interact, and all the proceeds go to a charity. You know, I had a chance to meet you guys in person, and Vinnie, you know, you are a lot of people may not know this. I didn't know it, but now you can see with this awesome skateboard. You know, you're kind of famous yourself, and I'm sure, yeah, you are. And in fact, all of you guys are with your podcasting and whatnot. So, you know, I would love nothing better than to turn some of that and have a chance to really use it for something good and give back to society. So I just throw that out there to you guys to consider. Maybe we can get some other folks willing to give some of their time as well to charity and to help kids and animals and other causes. It doesn't have to necessarily be those charities every time. But I throw that over the transom for you guys to consider and tell me your thoughts.
I'll quote myself from earlier today. This has been very successful. We should make this a tradition.
Dan, I think you're right.
I'm right there with you. I think we should do exactly that. It blew my mind that we got $24,000. And
That's
I
incredible.
think we can do
That's
even
incredible.
better next year. The subject is growing, the awareness is growing, and we can pour it into this really positive thing. And this is how you change the world, just little by little, just doing these little things.
Dan, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Every great ocean starts off as a raindrop somewhere, right? Or as a drop of water, up some obscure, little creek that flows into a river that flows into a sea, which flows into an ocean. So I think you're absolutely right. And I am so humbled that you guys would consider me to be part of this, and then also for all the incredible people who donated out there. I would love to get a chance to. I know some people probably don't want credit for it, but if there was a way we could just, whoever wanted to be mentioned, who were significant donors, I'd love to get a chance to thank each and every one of them sometime, maybe on air with you guys, and say, hey, look, have the list and say, give me just 2 minutes to read out the specific names of individuals who decided to get. Look, it's tough, man. We're in the middle of another COVID pandemic. The global economy hasn't been great, and yet people still found it in their hearts to give. Yeah. That's huge. That's huge. I don't see anybody else in the UAP community doing that. I see a lot of people charging for their time and taking the money for themselves, but I don't see anybody right now, than a small group of ragtag mavericks like us, saying, hey, why not? Let's do it. Let's just go ahead and give all the proceeds to a good cause and thank everybody individually for being so generous. Christmas can be hard for some people. Not everybody has a family. And I recognize that. Not everybody has a job. Not everybody has the ability and the resources to give. There was a time back when I was a young soldier. I think everybody knows I had kind of an interesting, kind of a tough childhood, but we were on food stamps. That's a fact. We were on food stamps. And if it wasn't for the kindness and generosity of others, I probably wouldn't be here today having this conversation with you. So giving is important. It's critical. It keeps us grounded as individuals and as a species. Ultimately, if we can leave this place a little bit better than we found it, and we all take that, if you will, that way of thinking, maybe we can make a huge difference on this planet. So
even the day after Christmas, like we're doing today, Lou, like a few people have donated again, and any cash from the super chat and super sticker stuff from YouTube, it's about another £100. We're going to put that on top of the charity donations as well. So people are still coming in and donating money, which is amazing. Like, it's a tough time of year, and whether people could or couldn't, it's amazing what people have got involved in with this as well. So.
Andy, if I may, you guys have in the UK, you guys have a tradition that I'm not sure a lot of Americans are really aware of, but that's Boxing Day, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain to me a little bit about the tradition of, because it's really started with you guys over across the pond. Can you give our audience just a little bit of understanding for those who are not lucky enough to be UK citizens or have that history? Can you give us a little history of what the meaning of Boxing Day is?
So let me embarrass myself. I think, and I might be corrected here, it was just the idea that it was the day after gifts were given and the day all the boxes were gotten rid of, essentially. But it's sort of now turned into a bit of a Christmas Day part 2. And I think for a lot of people, including parents like myself, where you don't have the hectic Christmas Day anymore, the presents being unwrapped and the kids going wild, it's a bit more of a relaxed day. A lot of drinking's done. Vinny has his glass of wine there to demonstrate that. He's finished it already, and
no.
it's there we go. It's a bit more of a relaxed Christmas day, and people tend to probably travel a bit more for it, meet up with family and friends, and for me, there's always lots of football / soccer on the TV. This is funny because earlier on Twitter, someone mentioned it was a UFO Chronicles podcast that do the US have Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day? I believe it's known as in Ireland potentially. Is that right or wrong?
For us, Boxing Day is a chance to give some presents in boxes to the poor, to less fortunate people, right? So traditionally, you have a bunch of gifts for Christmas, and then the very next day you take a portion of those gifts and you give them to people who don't have anything. For me, that is that's incredible. That's one hell of a holiday to celebrate. On one moment we're celebrating Christmas and we're all enjoying our time together, and then the very next day we're also giving to those less fortunate. And I think, again, there's one of the most precious things we can give somebody is the gift of life. And so when you're donating to a cause like St. Jude, which is for children, and the Humane Society, where you're dealing with animals who've been not only neglected, but in some cases forgotten, right? And no longer have that dignity of life. And being able to give a second chance or a third chance or a fourth chance, how many of us have had a second or a third chance at something, or a fourth chance? And most of the time we probably don't deserve it, but we're given those opportunities anyways. So let's see if we can, pay that forward. I know I've got a big debt to pay. Looking at my life and my career, I'm going to have to spend a lot of time, giving back. And that's really what I think this holiday season is about. You guys made it happen. This has been, for me, one of the greatest Christmas gifts I could have asked for, which is people being generous and giving their heartfelt money to incredible causes. I would never want somebody to give money that they don't have. But there is a biblical verse, isn't there, that talks about the value of charity, right? And the value of giving money, and the value of, to a multimillionaire, a $10,000 check doesn't mean as much to the old woman who only has a penny, and she gives her last penny. By the way, I'm not asking anybody to give your last penny. Please don't do that. But my point being is that, everybody, giving just a little really makes a big difference. I know it did to me when I was younger, and I've tried to spend a good portion of my life not trying to give back. And because I know there were a lot of people who gave me second chances and third chances and fourth chances.
I think that's important to remember, isn't it? Like we're all kind of works in progress and like puzzle pieces built over the courses of our lives. And all too often we forget that we judge ourselves by our intentions and others by their actions. And I think it's important to appreciate that other people have intentions and lives and families and daughters and sons and all of those things too, because it helps us appreciate how interconnected the world is and the people that build us up and support us,
Do we just get someone else? I think it looked like Carl Mann that just gave 20 pounds.
Yeah, that was Carl, yeah.
Hey, thanks, Carl. Appreciate it very much. Thank you so much.
Could you mind if I just jump in and ask, is it too late to add an extra prize, Dan?
I just saw that. I can't give it out via the raffle, but if you would like to give a prize out to someone in the chat, feel free.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look behind Lou, he's got a skate deck, so I'm going to give...
right here.
I'm going to give another skate deck out for, I don't know how we can do it, but, if you guys
by the way, for those who don't know, Vinnie, you know this. As a kid, I used to skate. I wasn't very good, but I loved skateboarding, and I still will sometimes jump on a board when I know nobody's watching. This is one hell of an awesome board. If anybody ever gets a chance I'm going to pull this off the wall just so people can see it. This is a kick-ass board, man. I mean, this is awesome. I love this thing. I have this right here in my office. Thanks, Vinnie, and whoever gets this, they're going to get one hell of a cool board.
So yeah,
I'll
I don't know
ma- I'll
how you
make
guys
sure.
want to do it. We could.
Well,
Should we do the same thing? And because Lou's there is signed by all of us from UAP Media, and we could, because we're all in the UK, we could send it around in the post and all sign it and then send it
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah,
Oh my
let's
God,
do
that'd
that.
be so cool, guys. You know what? Hell, can I? If I mean, I don't know if they want my signature, but if there's a way I could get it to you guys, you guys are closer by with that board. I'm wondering. I've got to be over there, I think, in February.
Okay.
So, or even maybe late January. So maybe we can meet up and get a chance to sign it too. And
Yeah, let's do it.
That's really nice of you, Vinny. Thank you so much. That's
My pleasure.
fantastic.
My pleasure. So yeah,
Look at
there we
that.
go.
Still adding prizes after the raffle is over, but we've got to figure out a way to give it away, though.
I've got some other stuff you guys have sent me in the past around my office at some point. That really cool triangle and cloud thing. So that would be also something really neat as well. I've been actually hanging over my window right now. You can't see it here, but I can. I've got that hanging up as well.
It's I have one. Can I reach it?
what we'll do is we'll make sure at the
One
end
of
of the recording, we'll pick someone and get it sent out. I've not donated any prizes, but I'll cover the postage for everything Dan has to send out. So we'll make sure that gets done as well, so it's not costing Dan any cash. So that can be my donation.
Whoa.
That's the best thing he has.
Yeah, we're shipping a canvas, man.
Yeah. Listen, Lou, it's getting late, and you've been really generous for your time. Well, it's not late for you; it's early, but we want to get you back to your family. People will hate me if I don't ask you. We know there's a few things coming in 2022 for Lou Elizondo.
Oh, yeah.
We know there is a book coming out that people are very excited about. We know that President Biden has an important piece of paper on the way to his desk. What do you foresee happening for us in 2022?
Wow, a lot. This is just the beginning. Fortunately, the legislators in my country got together and received the briefings that they needed to get from some of my colleagues back in government, and it's made a hell of a difference. Now, I don't take this the wrong way. Don't be discouraged. But now the real hard part begins, right? Because now that we've got the legislation in place, we actually have to do something. We can't just sit back and say, we won. No, actually, round one of the boxing match has been won. We still have 11 more rounds to go. And I said this in the beginning to everybody. Look, this is, disclosure isn't an event, it's process. And you're seeing that process. And by the way, the good news, it's actually unfolding very, very quickly. We're getting a lot of momentum here. And I'll tell you too, from the UK side, I know a lot of times some folks tend to be a little bit hard on the UK side, but don't be too surprised if maybe the UK is a little bit more how shall we say receptive to this idea. I'm certainly not going to speak for the UK government or anybody in the UK, but the UK has always been a long-standing, very, very the closest ally to the United States, UK and Canada, really, and Australia. Probably because we have so much in common, frankly. I mean, really, if you look at it, a lot of America really, came from the UK at one point in the past. But there's other commonalities there. We're both staunchly supportive of democracies, and we both have a lot in common. And it's been my observation that there's some momentum in the UK on this topic, and some of that's because of what you guys are doing. It's becoming more acceptable to have this conversation. So I think what you're going to see is increased acceptance by the international community, increased involvement by the international community. You're going to see a much more robust and transparent effort here in the United States regarding this topic. We're just beginning, man. I mean, we've got the academic community, the scientific communities, we have the technology communities, all now stepping up and saying, "Hey, you know what? This is important. We want to be part of this." That's amazing. That's amazing. And of course, ultimately, private citizens, right? At the end of the day, this is really about us, and this is a journey we're all taking together. And so I think you're going to see opportunities for the general public to participate in this much more as well. I'm very optimistic. When I first started, I said I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm more optimistic now than I am probably cautiously optimistic. There's still some hurdles for sure, and some big challenges we're going to have to navigate and try to figure out. It's amazing that that we've come this far. And when I say we, I mean we. I don't mean me or I or just Chris Mellon and myself or a few others. I mean all of us. We, you out there right now that's watching this podcast and watching this conversation. You are part of the conversation, whether you realize it or not. You are making a difference. You're having the conversation around the water cooler. You're having the conversation around the dinner table, and people are listening. So thank you. Thank you very much. And I think we're going to see more of this as time continues. My hope is that we'll be so successful that you won't need me anymore. I can just kind of fade off into the sunset and nobody will know who the hell Lou Elizondo was. And that'd be fine by me. I don't know when that time's going to come, but my hope is that it will come. And I think it will. Look, just look at this incredible group that we have together. Look, people are donating money for a cause who probably 3 years ago never really considered even UFOs as a serious topic. And now they're listening to you, and you have managed to get people together and have a conversation about UFOs while at the same time donating to some incredible causes. I mean, guys, that's magic, man. That's incredible. And I'm so humbled to be part of that. And if there's anything I can do ever to, for all the generosity and outpouring of people, to somehow show them my appreciation and repay them, I'm happy to do it. I wouldn't know where to start, but if you have any ideas, let me know. This has been really a humbling moment for me, and a very happy moment.
Lou, this podcast is mainly about the charity of the Raffle, and it's not me to ambush you about UFO questions, but if you don't mind me just asking, do you have a personal highlight from this year on the UAP front?
I do. I'll have to probably wait because I need the permission of some other folks to talk about it. We've had some really big wins, but I don't know if it's appropriate for right now, Daddy, to have a conversation without Mommy in the room, because we had it was more than just something that I did. It was just a smaller part of it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of highlights. I think for me, the DNI report was a highlight. People kind of say, oh, it was anticlimactic and whatnot. Well, no, actually, it served a great purpose. It whet the appetite. It did exactly what we needed it to do. It got people talking. It got Congress involved and engaged in realizing that because because that report was underwhelming, it then led to what you see now in legislation. I know people probably at the time looked at it and a little bit disappointed, but it served the purpose precisely the way it needed to. At the time, we couldn't really have that conversation because you don't want to let those that are working against you know your strategy, but it was very successful.
Dan, Vinnie, either of you want to say anything to Lou before we let him have the rest of his day back?
Just thank you, Lou, for everything. As always, it's been a fantastic year. Thank you personally for coming on my channel, for meeting in London when we did. And I look forward to seeing you again in 2022. So yeah, thank you very much.
And Dan, I got a question for you guys when we're done. I got just one question when we're done. Dan, go ahead.
I'm echoing the sentiments, really. Just thank you for this opportunity to make such a difference in the world. A bunch of people pile their time and effort into it, and it's gorgeous. Yeah,
it really is. And I want to thank eventually. I can't wait to personally thank the highest bidder. I cannot wait to have that conversation. Question for you, gents, and maybe for you out in the audience. As some of you have noticed, I have allowed my facial hair to grow now a little bit, and the quote unquote Lou Manchu is no more. I need your personal opinion because the reason why I did this, I know there's speculation out there. Let me just tell you the real reason. Many years ago, when I was working for the government, you go overseas, you grow these big beards out for operational security reasons. And I had this big, lush, beautiful beard that was the same color for my hair. And I remember probably after fourth or fifth, garden tour over there, I came home and my daughter started noticing. Said, "Dad, you're turning gray." I said, "Nonsense! I'm not turning gray." And of course, my wife said, "Yeah, actually, you're turning gray." I said, "Oh no!" So I wound up shaving my beard and leaving just a goatee. And a couple of years later, my daughter's sitting at the dinner table. Said, "Dad, you're turning gray up here." I said, "What? Come on! I'm not turning gray." Look in the mirror, and it ain't blonde, that's for sure. So that's great. So I wound up shaving that, and all I had left was this, the Lu Manchu, and of course, over several years, that started to turn colors as well, colors that I wasn't very familiar with, other than what was on my beard before. And so I had someone suggest to me, "Hey, maybe the time has come, Lou, to just own it, right? Just grow it." And I'm not necessarily talking a Santa Claus beard, but something that I'm more familiar with, more comfortable with. What do you guys think? What is your audience think? Should I keep it? Should I go back to the Lu Manchu? The problem is, if I shave the whole thing, I look like I'm 12, and that's, Mrs. Elizondo is not going to be happy about that. So what do you guys think?
Well, someone in the chat,
don't lie. You got to get me straight up.
Someone in the chat just said that your current look has kind of shaved a bunch of years off you, so you look younger, growing the beard too. So it doesn't matter. You just look young, Lou.
Kim, thank you. Awesome. I know the goatee was iconic, Andreas. I know. So that's why I'm like, I'm kind of torn. I mean, I kind of, in one case, it's kind of the classic Colonel Sanders look, right? Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then on the other hand, though, people mistaken me as some sort of biker gang guy a lot of times. I'd make babies cry or something like that. So I don't know. I'm trying it out. Gray beards make you look like Zeus.
Lou, I kind of want to see a picture of you and Sean together, leather jackets, back to back, big beards. I think that would make a great album.
Well, Sean, he's got that incredible beard that I'll never be able to compete with. I mean, it's just that big, rich, lush. That's why we call him Mystic Lion. It looks like a mane, right? This big, gorgeous mane. By the way, next time you talk to Sean, you have to ask him what I got him for Christmas. I'm not going to tell him about it. You got to ask him. Say, "Hey, Sean, Lou told us to ask you what for Christmas."
Lou, I think you said yourself, I'm not being rude, but you've dropped like 30 pounds, and you're looking well for it, and you've got the hair, and you did have a bit of a doppelganger.
It hasn't
for a
turned
while.
gray yet. I promise I'm not coloring it.
Have you seen Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives?
I'm sorry, have I seen what?
It's a program called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
I think there was a show here that was a food show where they would go in and they would check. The
guy who hosted that could have been your brother. I know a few people mentioned that to me.
Guy Fieri, I get told that a lot.
Yeah, quite a few people mentioned it. But you now look like his much younger brother, much more successful younger brother. So
far more attractive. No, if Guy Fieri's out there, sorry, I'm just kidding. Just, trying to keep up with you guys. So, guys, I really appreciate this, and I really appreciate you guys doing this, and again, your entire audience for having this. Thank you 1,000 times.
I'll let Dan get in touch with you with the winner's information and details. And I know you said yourself, Lou, there was a couple of people, I think it was maybe 2 or 3, who put in really substantial amounts of money.
So I want to take care of them. I want to now they may not be comfortable being recognized publicly. And if that's the case, that's fine. I can figure something else out. What I'd like to do is maybe at least just send them a personal card from me, saying thank you. I'm going to need your help with that because I don't have all the data, but I would like an opportunity to thank each and every one of them, even if it's just a quick phone call. And then, the winner, we'll do a face-to-face Zoom and, but I think it's important. People need to know they're appreciated. People need to know that, their generosity means a lot. And at least I can do is say thank you for those who aren't in a position to say thank you. Right.
Yeah, I think absolutely.
This will be one of the rare occasions in your life, Lou, where someone else has more data than you do. So I'll let Dan sort that out with you going forward. But Lou, thank you very much.
Can we trade NDAs on the data if I give up the GDPR?
Yeah, we can work. No. I'll get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lou,
we'll talk about that when we see you
we
next.
will no doubt speak to you in the new year. You're always welcome back on the podcast. We know how busy you are, and we pester you for interviews and time and stuff. So we'll get to talk UFOs more in the new year, I'm sure. But in the meantime, enjoy your new year. Thanks to the family for giving you up as well.
Absolutely.
And thanks for your time.
And Andy, Dan, and Vinnie, thank you. And if there's anybody behind your screens there that are helping you produce this stuff that aren't on camera,
Just us.
thanks to them.
Just us,
you guys
yeah.
are amazing.
Just
You
us,
guys
yeah.
look so professional. And then I look at myself in the lower left-hand quadrant. I'm like, God, man, this is the reason why people say I have a face for radio, right? Because I'm not young and dashing like you guys are. You guys look like have professional studios and
No.
I just look like I'm in my broom closet somewhere.
Can always be worse.
It's all good. You go in for the Hugh Laurie, salt and pepper kind of feel.
Great. Well, guys, thanks. This has been real fun. And again, to your audience out there, thank you for having me. Really look forward to thanking each and every one of you at some point here. Somehow we'll figure it out, but I would like to do that. And what we could do? Maybe we just do here's an idea, and then I'm going to shut up because I'm probably going to make your lives difficult by doing this. Maybe we could do like a one day, get everybody who donated, even up to like $10 or 10 pounds or whatever. We bring them, allow them to dial into your show kind of, and we just, have a big call and say thank you to everybody. Maybe spend a couple seconds or minutes with each person and say, hey, why did you decide to do this? And thank you so much. And I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah,
We
that's
can make that
doable.
happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So kind of like
That'd
a
be
little
great.
closed forum and they get the chance to, if they're comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
that
we can
sounds
arrange that.
fantastic.
Definitely.
All right, guys.
We'll sort that in the new year.
Well, again, thanks again, gents. Appreciate all that you do, and to your audience out there who do even more, thank you so much. It's truly amazing, very humbling, and I hope to shake each and every one of your hands at some point here. So, thank you very much, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and God bless every one of you.
Yeah, you too, Lou. Happy New Year when it
You
comes.
too.
Take care,
Take
Lou.
care, guys.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you.
10-4. Take care.
Bye-bye.
And there he goes. And should we do a countdown now of all the watchers of the show as they drop off because Lou's gone?
Well, shall I do the? I noticed a point through there. We had Jazz asking if I could do a roundup of the prizes.
I've made a note to say, Dan,
Cool.
could you just quickly go over the people that you
Nice.
did? Initially, I was going to say we weren't reading names, but Dan fixed it that so many regular listeners won that he was quite comfortable in reading the names. So
They were.
I think it was
I'll
Dave
leave some
Smethurst
people
wrote
anonymous.
fix on the thing. So, but no, yeah, that was really good of Lou to give us so much time. So, listen, can I just say first, I hope people appreciate we didn't sit and bombard Lou with UFO questions. This wasn't a UFO interview. This is about the charity, the raffle. But I got a couple of things in that he was comfortable with, but it's not our style to jump on Lou and start asking him all sorts of stuff. So the time will come for that in the new year, and it's good to have someone like Lou on side for that kind of stuff and the UFO stuff as well. So thanks to anyone who put questions in the chat. We'll keep those for when we speak to Lou on UAPs. But he gave us some good stuff. I was pleasantly surprised with what he kind of talked about anyway. So
He
that was
always
really
gives
cool.
the goods. You'll always get like a breadcrumb or something. I saw people in the chat kind of going, "What is there stuff going on other than what we're kind of seeing publicly go through the Senate?" And
You know
it's
what?
just like, yeah, I mean, for those things to happen, there have to be conversations going on behind those doors, right?
I know for a fact there's going to be people online now on Reddit or social media going, Lou gave an analogy about shaving his beard off, but what do you think he really meant? Do you think he was talking about Roswell? Like, because now the beard's off, does that mean the doors are open and they're going to show us the bodies? Is that what he meant? And it's like, no, he was just talking about he's dyeing the beard and growing a beard out. But
no, the
but
soul patch is where Lou kept his soul, and he's spreading it in a big area, so it's not so easy to get to. That's it.
Absolutely. But yeah, Dan, do you want to do a roundup? Have you got that to hand?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll name the people that I named already. Everyone else, again, I'll keep anonymous. But Aaron Desario gets the holographic sticker collection. The Knitted Alien Autopsy. I don't think I read that one out, so I'm going to leave that anonymous.
Yeah, I think you did. Yep.
Then the Truth Poster and the NFT, and that'll be the Zoom call as well. That's for the highest donor. I'm kind of it fits to me that all of those kind of went together, even by chance. So yeah, they all go to that anonymous donor, which is incredible. And they'll have a really interesting conversation, I think. Then the Nimitz Encounter board game, that's going to be going out to somebody out in Malaysia, which is pretty cool to think that they're going to be playing a UAP game about an American UAP, an American UAP encounter all the way out there. Then we had Reflections of the Phenomena, the acrylic on canvas by Olof Rockner. That's going to Nathan, a waif soul on Twitter, which is awesome. Then we have Phil. I'll leave the surname off just because I'm not sure if he wants his surname said. But Phil, also a longtime listener of the podcast. I know he was one of the guys in the running for getting the call. He'll be over the moon, I know, to hear that Lou just said that he'll give him a call to say thank you regardless. And then, the main guy gets a Zoom. Hey, there's Nathan. Yeah, Nathan, you're going to get an amazing canvas.
I'm so jealous. So jealous.
And then,
Vinnie, if you're really jealous, you can always buy them on Olaf's store, and the details will be in the description to this podcast.
There you go.
Not a painted canvas though. This is a full-on original.
Yeah.
It's a special one. And then TJ gets the signed Graham Randall book of UFOs Before Roswell. So they are all of the prizes, but obviously now we have a couple more prizes, it seems. So we'll figure out how to do those and get those up in the next few days or something. I'm sure we can. Yeah, we'll get that signed by Lou, and that'll just be an amazing auction piece. Has appeared on Fox News.
Yeah. Oh, it just fell over, so it might have extra dents in it.
But listen, I think we're going to kind of start rounding up because we've been on over an hour and people will be getting tired and want to kick on with their days. And thanks to everyone who joined us live. It's not just a normal day of the week, and we didn't give too much notice for this either. So really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask Vinnie and Dan what's kind of coming up for them over the next week or so. And then I'll round off with what's coming up on the podcast, and then we'll kick off. So, Vinnie, guests first as always. You're not a guest; you're a friend. You're on regular now, so you know.
I've actually got nothing coming up. I am taking a break till early January. I'm obviously bringing the podcast and the YouTube channel back into full effect as always, but I'm having a few weeks off. I'm actually going away early February on a trip to Colombia to film a documentary series and do some investigations and stuff. So I'm kind of going to focus quite a bit on that in the next few weeks, because I think we're only 6 weeks away. So it's going to be an interesting start to 2022 for me. So yeah, but everything I'll put out across my social medias if people care.
Okay, yep, cool. Dan, what about yourself?
I almost left myself on mute then. Almost.
Hey, a classic.
I'm going to be focusing on learning where the mute button is and not doing that. That's my resolution for 2022. Yeah. I don't want to see too much because I don't want to jinx it, but there's a maybe incredible opportunity in front of me, and fingers crossed it'll happen. I can kind of do something amazing for the people to watch the channel and listen, and it'll pay dividends down the road. So fingers crossed that works out. Apart from that, there are some other exciting plans with Olof brewing, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I'm just trying to pick my brain up off the floor because you just $24,000. Thank you guys. Just I'd hug you all if I could.
Yeah, I'll start with saying thank you to everyone who donated to the raffle. Dan organised this, and it was his idea, and the rest of us just retweeted it and liked it. But for anyone, even if you didn't manage to get involved financially, if you did manage to like it, retweet it, share it, all made a difference. For me and the podcast, well, tomorrow, as I record this on the 27th, I am speaking to the wonderful Ashley Cowie, and that links in with what Vinnie said about his documentary is going out to help make Phenomenology. That's a hard one for me to say, and I've done it twice now, which is going good.
Say it 3 times in a row.
Phenomenology.
Oh, it's
Oh,
not impressive now.
Nice.
We can rap.
I know there's a listener who really loves when I say bird on bird. BIRD, bird on the show, so that's for them. Our purple burglar alarm's always a good one. But yeah, Ashley is a fellow Scot and a filmmaker, TV presenter, and UFO researcher, among other things. He'll be joining me tomorrow, so 2 Scottish accents. Vinnie interviewed and spoke with him last week. Make sure you check that one out, and we'll be following that up tomorrow. And yeah, that he is the head of the whole event that Vinnie's going out. Is that fair to say he's the head of it? Yeah, the kind of spearhead, Vinnie?
Yeah, absolutely. He put it all together. He's put the crew together. We've got a full crew. There is a website. You know what? People out there in the public can get involved. There are places for people to come along, but there are costs involved. But if anybody's interested, there is a website which I can pass to Andy. You can put maybe in the description, or you can go onto my socials and check it out. There's lots of information, but yeah.
historyfuzz.com/phenomenology.
Yeah, we'll get it in the description. There you go. Dan's on ball. So yeah, we'll be talking about that a bit more tomorrow, and also some present and past historic cases in Colombian ufology. This week also, as people know, just to get this in there again, there's been some new voices on the podcast feed, and it's turning into a little bit of a network. As you know, Priscilla, Quantum Witch Cafe, her shows are now going out on a Wednesday on the That UFO podcast feed, and she is speaking to Christina Gomez. And that interview will be dropping on the audio feeds on Wednesday, the 29th, I think it is. So yeah, that'll be a really good chat between Priscilla and Christina on her channel. Make sure you're checking her out, Quantum Witch Cafe. That'll be out. And of course, Dave Partridge and Graham Rendell have a new podcast starting. Again, it'll be out through That UFO podcast. Think of it as a bit of a network, I suppose, and that'll be diving into the history of UFOs, ufology through the years and decades, and a lot of forgotten cases. And so much of it, as I've seen the guys researching it in the chat we have, links into what we see today, and you don't even realize it. So that is going to be absolutely fascinating. I promise people will enjoy that. And on top of that, you've still got the interviews that I'll be putting out along with Dan, the breakdowns that we do, and the listener call-ins will be back in January as well. Next week, as well as Ashley Cowie's interview dropping, me and Dan will be recording, or myself and Dan, for those who speak proper England, we'll be recording an end-of-year review, just with a lot of listeners have sent in what has been their favourite part of the year in terms of UFOs, and their highlights, their personal highlights. So you can email me those over to ufouapam@gmail.com, or there's a public post on the Patreon that you can add to as well that we'll be going through as part of that. But I digress. We only lost 60 or 70 people when Lou dropped off, so I think that's a win.
How many people are with us? I don't have
148 still, apparently. Wow. So pretty amazing. And GD said, "Merry Christmas, everyone," with I think that's $10 Australian. So g'day. My family's out there. That's morning time there just now. So yeah, all that money that was donated in the chat through super chat, super stickers, whatever you want to call it on YouTube, will be going to those charities as part of the raffle donations as well. So thank you very much. Gents, been a pleasure as always. And yeah, thanks to everyone for joining us. I'm going to hit end broadcast and try and look professional. Dan, anything you want to add?
Just thank you to you guys for your support. Both of you have retweeted and liked it. I know you're like, oh, it doesn't really do much, but it does. You heard Lou say it. It's we're all connected. We all help push this. We all make these small things bigger. So thank you to you guys too.
Cheers. Hey. Vinnie, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it, Dan. Yeah, more than happy to assist in any small way that I can to promote and share this, fantastic kind of stuff. And I know there have been conversations already about, like Lou said, making it a regular thing or an annual thing. So I would love to be even more of a part of it. And as far as getting this skateboard deck out there to someone, we'll get it signed by Lou and we'll put out the information. So follow people, Andy, Dan, me if you want.
It might take us a few weeks to get it signed, like 4 to 6 to 8 maybe, but we'll get it done, and you'll have the only other one that's not on Lou's wall.
There you go.
And I only have one more question. It's been really fun talking to both of you in this kind of more casual way, not totally UFOs, which is great. And thanks to everyone joining us. Dan, Vinnie, a riddle for you to end the show.
Ooh.
What's cool and hangs up?
You.
Oh no.